Well, now we're back at it again, day 2. We've got a complete set of Mikuni flat side carbs. These are TM33s. The only thing we need to adjust now before we put this rack back into the snowmobile is down here, the idle mixture screws. We had them set previously to 1.78 turns out. And now we want these set to 2 1/8 turn. So I've turned them all the way in. Now we're going to come out, it's a half turn. 1, 1.5, 2 1/8. So we're all good. You're ready to install this. We've got some new fuel lines going in. The old lines to the PTO side in the middle carburetors were completely dried up and shriveled. They weren't cracked, but they were in bad shape, and as well we found a kink in one of the lines that was impeding the fuel flow to the carb. So we're going to put new fuel lines in it. Before we do that though, we'll get this carb rack remounted and we'll get the flanges tied up on the cylinder head side into the reed blocks, tighten those down and mount it, and then we'll run those new fuel lines. So let's get to the sled itself. So before we install the carburetors, just wanted to show you the reed valves on the inside here are all in good shape. You can see everything is closed, none of them are broken. All 3 cylinders and all 6 of the reed pedals. So those are all good. So we're ready to install that carburetor and get that rack installed back into the sled. So now we've got the entire rack positioned back into the sled. We'll set the bottoms of them inside to these flanges on the back of the reed blocks and pop it in just like such. So get a screwdriver. Gonna get my finger in there. Get that light turned around so that we can see. That one's good right there. So those are all tightened up now. Got the carb rack installed. You're going to take the antifreeze line on the back side of the carburetor here. Bring it up in behind the back of the carb and up into the back of the manifold right there. And I got a little clip on this side. Fold that line into there and that will hold it and keep it away from the carburetor and the heat. I'm also going to install that wire onto the TPS switch. Okay, so I'm going to grab this clamp here. Just going to wind that up to the top. It secures that coolant line. That's good. Now I get this other one way over here. You can see that one coming up. Okay, so the 2 coolant lines are installed. Next thing we can start doing here is installing the throttle cable, which is right here in the middle. So we've got that depressed in there, got the wire of the cable brought up around the shoe. Then we're going to bring the throttle cable up right here in the top. All right, so we're just going to get this cam into the other side for the choke mechanism. Get that around the top and get that start threading in there. And what I'm going to do now is adjust the 2 of them. So this shoe right here, this cam on the throttle shaft, needs to have just a little bit of play on this cable. So right now, if I check the throttle, I've got quite a bit of end play on it, so I still want to pick that up a little bit. It means I want to bring this down, take any pressure off of that shoe. I can see it dropping down, dropping down. Now I got a little bit of play. And that's ultimately what I want to see. So I'm going to bring that up just another turn. I'm going to lock that down. And then we're going to test the throttle. That's right where I want it. It's got about 1/8 of an inch of end play in there. And what happens now when I pull this, you can see this side articulate over like that. That closes the torus sensor, TORS, and at the same time, This one here is still closed until it hit that. Now they're both open. And that way, if this throttle comes shut again, right here, if I was to let go of that and then look down here, if that throttle was to stick open or that shoe was to open, that switch is open. Right here, there's another Torque switch. And without that cam being closed, it sees that open and that'll shut down the ignition timing. We're careful to make sure we've got everything adjusted nicely, and we do. So that takes care of our end play for the throttle switch and matches on our cam to make sure we've got good timing and just enough end play in there. So I'll lock that down next, and then we'll adjust this when we start it up. We'll adjust the idle right here. So now the same thing needs to happen on the choke assembly. So half choke, full choke. And I like how far that's opening now. How much more is there left on there? I don't think there's much. No, we're fully maxed out on the choke. So that's perfect right there. Switch likes that. Click, click. We're good. So I'll tighten that down as well. We'll need a 10mm wrench to tighten both those down. Okay, so we're just going to tighten down this jam nut now on the throttle. Just verifying I got that in a good position. And we'll tighten that down as well. Got a cover that slides down over that. We're all good on the rest of it. So all those cables are good. Right over here we have our Torque wiring. So the yellow and black. This one plugs in here. You'll hear it kind of seat. Click. Same thing with this one. Click. So that's in a good spot. And then we have this other wiring harness here for the TPS. Throttle position sensor. It's going to go right into this one here. You're going to hear that snap in. Click. So we're going to route that in with this. So that's back in. So just to verify where we're at right now, carb rack is mounted. We've secured all the flanges on the back of the reed blocks. We've installed the throttle cable, got the camo situated in there and adjusted it, verified the tension on it. Same thing on the choke assembly. Got the choke assembly all in, testing it. Everything seems to work great with the choke assembly, so we're happy with that. That's all secured. We've got the Torque wiring back in there. We've reconnected the TPS wiring in the back of there. You see anything that I'm missing there, Devin, that we were just looking at?
Antifreeze lines.
Yeah, both of the antifreeze lines are in and secured. We got that one there. Over on the other side, we got that one there. Good to have a second set of eyes. So we verified those are all hooked up. Fuel lines are next. So over on your side there, we're going to run 2 new lines off the fuel pump here over to the PTO side and the middle carburetors, all because those lines were brittle. So we'll get some new lines and some new crimp-on connectors for that, and that will get the fuel lines all connected. And then I think we can get on to installing the airbox. Feed that up. Put 3/4 of an inch onto there. Too high. Right there. Okay, so now we have 2 new fuel lines. Shouldn't have anything down here that should kink that now. Got good protection there from the airbox, as that one's got the steel wrap on it, so nothing's going to come down and depress that. Should be good. Looks good, looks clean, right lengths. Now we can move on. Now, get those flanges positioned right. Next up, we have the airbox installed. So if you look down here in the back, you'll see those brown flanges with the screws in each one. There's 3 of them in total. You can see one down in here, another one in here. So look on the inside of the box here. As you can see down at the bottom that the back of the carb flange comes in these little rubber boots. So you want to make sure that all three of those are seated like you see there. Box is nice and clean. Those are all tightened down. The next step now is to bring in this little piece for the plenum or diffuser. I don't know, whatever you want to call this thing. It's engineered like this for a reason, so there's a science behind it. Upper airbox is now in. Just adding this last midsection to it. This secures that plenum down using 7 screws. There's 4 Phillips around the back side and 3 of these Phillips on the front side. You can see the air bleed line. So that's the top fitting that bleeds to atmosphere for the venting on the carburetor, and that actually goes right here. That's good. So we've cleaned the filter, vacuumed all that out. This one's not brittle, so it's still in good shape. This filter on the outside is a little chewed up, but it's going to work fine. The next thing that we're going to do, if you come around to the front here, I couldn't find any decent videos on this, but with the 2 boys riding this, or anybody riding this for this matter, we wanted to put tether switches in. So this is the only spot I could sneak it in. So I put that in there just to the right of the thumb warmer switch. That gives enough room for that to pop on there. We brought the wires out around the back and brought them up. It's tough to see with those now. There's the wire. So that route's just in between everything else with a little bit extra room in there. And I brought it up through here. We've got the black and the white. And this is the switch that comes over from the kill switch or the on-off switch. There's 3 wires come into it. There's a yellow black, a white black, and a black. And that black changes over to brown on this side. And I remember reading something, a reference about if you're wiring in, splice into the brown. And I believe the other one was the black and white. So I just got to verify which is to which. And then we'll get those spliced in there later. Close all this up. And that will give us a tether wired up. Aside from that, we have some clutch service to do. When we get the sled running, we're going to warm up the motor a little bit outside. We'll spin the track over some and get the chain case heated up a little bit. And then we're going to change the fluids in the chain case, adjust the track, lube the rest of the track. And that will pretty much carry out the annual maintenance to this one with a complete overhaul of all the carbs. Like I said, compression check and all the rest of it. This is in pretty good shape. This sled just needed a major cleaning and needed a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of love. Devin's going to give it that. We're going to put a wrap on this one next week. And I'm sure Devin will have that on his channel. And you'll see this one out in the snow, hopefully in a week or 2 from now. We're supposed to get some snow next Thursday. It's been really low for snow this year, but it's coming. So just got to be patient and wait for it. In the interim, get lots of little things done like servicing sleds. So later, guys.